Clay?
Here.
Dr. Dobrin?
Here.
Mr. Nessie? Absent. Mr. Manginelli is absent.
At this time, I would like to invite everyone to join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. There is one set of meeting minutes for approval. May I have a motion to approve the December 5th regular meeting minutes?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
May I have a roll call?
Ms. Buckley?
Yes.
Dr. Dobrin?
Yes.
Mrs. Clay?
Abstain. Next, we will move on to reports. We're going to begin with a proclamation for the record for Commissioner Lillian Berry. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Joseph Nappy to come forward for the presentation of the certificate of recognition that I have for him. And I would ask you to bear with me because I have some words that I'd like to share with you about Mr. Nappy.
Good job.
I wanted, is this on? Yes? I can't tell, yes, okay. I wanted to introduce you to Joseph Nappy. Joe is a social studies teacher at Monmouth Regional High School, the town where he spent many years of his childhood attending Swimming River, Tinton Falls Middle, and for a brief time, Monmouth Regional. He's the key club advisor, a member of the Equity Council, and the chair of Monmouth Helping Its Own charitable committee, which he co-founded. Since its inception, he's raised over $75,000 in staff donations for students in need. He's also an Alfred Lerner Fellow with the Jewish Foundation for the Righteous, a member of the Center for the Holocaust, Human Rights and Genocide Education, known as CHANGE, and he serves as his district's liaison to the Diversity Council at Kane University. All while teaching, this is all while teaching a full load, I have to add that, because sometimes people don't recognize that. He has helped his students to pursue campaigns to end human trafficking. He's infused Holocaust and genocide education into the curriculum nationwide, and he's raised money for refugee resettlement, just to name a few of his accomplishments. Joe is the kind of teacher that puts students first. He focuses on getting to know each one, and he helps them address issues that they're facing in and outside of the classroom. He ensures that all of his students see themselves reflected in his lessons, keeping education relevant. Through his distinguished career, he's received numerous awards, including but not limited to the Ida and Jeff Margolis Medallion for Excellence in Multicultural Education, the Teacher of the Year at Monmouth Regional in 2010 and 2023, a United States Navy Distinguished Educator in 2010, the Dr. Frank Kaplowitz Human Rights Educator of the Year Award from Kane in 2017, and this year in 2023-2024, Joe Nappy is the Monmouth County Teacher of the Year and the New Jersey State Teacher of the Year. And we are so proud to have the State Teacher of the Year from Tinton Falls, from Monmouth Regional. And it's an amazing accomplishment, and we wanted to be sure as a town and as a council that we recognize Joe for his achievement. This is your certificate.
Unfortunately, it's my mom's birthday, so my family's
Oh, I
like,
was
I
going
don't
to
know.
invite everybody up. I wanted to take a
Thank you.
picture, but we can take a picture.
Thanks so much. Congratulations. I'm usually pretty loud to go through there, that's it. I was gonna say, my mom moved to Tinton Falls in 1991, so I spent some time in Winding Brook, went through Swimming River, we went through a whole renovation there, was in Tinton Falls for a while, and even started in Monmouth Regional before I moved in with my father and everything else. So it means a lot to me to be able to represent this community. I know it was a big part of my upbringing, so I'm very pleased to be able to shine a spotlight on all the amazing things that happen over at Monmouth Regional. I know some of you know, you've had your kids come through this district. So we really are a hidden gem in Monmouth County, and I'm really glad that we get an opportunity to highlight that. You know, I've loved it here. I know you love it here. That's why you're still here for all those things. So I'm really happy to represent Tinton Falls, not just in the state, but as we go on to the national level. So thank you so much to the town council for having me out here tonight. Thank you for all the work that you do for our community. We appreciate that. And thank you for this award. I really appreciate that. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out. We'll continue now with reports. Mr. Neff, our borough engineer.
Thank you. I just wanted to touch on 2 resolutions related to the softball fields project that we've been talking about. We were able to come to an agreement under some state contract co-op programs with a contractor. So we are excited to potentially be awarding that tonight to Athletic Fields of America for the main site contract, as well as Musco Sports Lighting for some lighting upgrades. So again, we're just excited to get that one rolling. I know the Little League girls and the program are very excited to see that kicking off in the near future. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Neff. Mr. Fallon, our CFO.
Yeah, I have no report this evening, but I would like to wish everyone a very happy holiday. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Tarafanko, our business administrator.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. And I'd like to echo what Mr. Fallon just said. Happy holidays. I just wanted to mention that we had our menorah lighting and our Christmas tree lighting, and I think it was very successful. So kudos to all those who helped support those endeavors. From the police department side, tonight is Shop with a Cop, and they also had some other Christmas events where they were supporting the kids of the community. And also our fire and EMS with their Christmas tree fundraising events, and also throughout the holidays, please remember them. They're out there. Most of them are volunteers. They're out there to support the community, and I still believe I saw the fire department still has some trees left. If anybody needs a tree last minute, please go visit them. They're out there, and it's a big fundraiser for them. So happy holidays, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Tarafanko. Mr. Starkey, our director of law.
Yes, we just had a meeting of the Tinton Falls Board of Health. I read a statement from the council president. I'm not going to read it again, but just so I wanted to make sure it's in the minutes of this meeting. Council president couldn't be here tonight, but he is aware of the issues concerning the Reclamation Center, and he is in touch with Commissioner Thomas Arnone to have him come to a meeting in January, hopefully to hear those concerns directly and to explain to people what the county is doing with regard to the landfill. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Starkey. Moving on to our clerk, Ms. Hutchinson.
I have no report this evening, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hutchinson. Council reports, Ms. Buckley.
Thank you, Council Deputy President Clay. I have a couple things. First, just to piggyback on what Mr. Tarafanko said, upcoming happy holidays. I was glad to be able to attend the menorah lighting the Thursday before I left for vacation. And that was awesome. I had a really good crowd at that event. And then, as Charlie had said, the Shop at the Cop by the police department was last night at the Jersey Shore Outlet Mall. I had the opportunity to attend the beginning of that. I think they said there were some like 52 children. It's always extremely popular. Santa was there. Kids were having a great time. It's a great thing to see, and that our police department does. I also want to thank the fire departments for the Santa drive-bys. I live in the Winding Brook condos off of Shrewsbury Avenue, and all the kids were coming out on Winding Brook Way, seeing Santa, getting the candy. They loved it. It was awesome. We had a good day for it as well. Moving on to just some business. Tomorrow night is the Fort Monmouth Economic Revitalization Authority meeting. It's the last one for the year. We had on this agenda a proclamation for Commissioner Lillian Burry for the record. That will be presented to her tomorrow night at the FEMERA meeting. She's served on the FEMERA board since it was the planning authority, back before the fort actually closed. And so she's finally retiring and stepping down. She's served for something like 35, 40 years. And so all three towns, Oceanport, Eatontown, and Tinton Falls, will be presenting her with that tomorrow night. It's an open public meeting. It's at 5 p.m. At 502 Brewer Street on the fort, if anyone would like to attend from the public as well. And we had our last Environmental Commission, Tinton Falls Environmental Commission meeting of the year last Thursday, December. We talked about some upcoming initiatives for next year. And I'll just general shout out. There's a potential opening on the Environmental Commission. There's, I think, a number of openings on the Shade Tree Commission. So if anyone is environmentally conscious and wants to get involved, there are volunteer opportunities for members of our residents to get involved. The volunteer application is on our website, or you can email any of us or the clerk if you can't find it. That's all for my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Buckley. Dr. Tobin?
Yes, thank you. Well, it's been a great year for the Library Association, as we all know. It's certainly coming to fruition that the library will be opening up this year. So we're very excited about it. And Tinton Falls Library Association Board of Trustee members Brian Perry and Ruth Santulli, as well as Heidi Amici from the Monmouth County Library, will be doing a walkthrough as soon as early January, if I'm not mistaken. And I know Tom Neff is going to address that.
Yep, early, mid-January, we'll be doing a walkthrough with the library folks. They can come in, assess the building again, see what needs they have as far as equipment and material to get ready for opening, potentially sometime this spring.
That's wonderful, yeah. So everything is definitely progressing with the construction. We're very excited about that. Certainly, I am well aware of the situation with the Monmouth Reclamation Center. I've lived in this town for 36 years. So I've been through some of those situations. I do live in the southern end, so I'm well aware of your concerns, and I know we're going to address it. I've talked to the council people, I've talked to our business administrator, and we're all on top of it. So we're looking forward to getting something settled with that. Very happy about the DPW's new calendar. It just came out yesterday, if any of the residents have gotten that. And some of the comments I've seen online, best one yet. And it certainly is, if you've seen it. It's a very excellent job. What else? The fire department, yes, that was a lot of fun. Very exciting for the residents of the town. I know my grandkids were out there and having a lot of fun with it. We have to thank the fire department for their every year coming out with a better and better situation that all the town members can see this fun event. Happy holidays to everybody, a great new year, and we hope that Tinton Falls will continue to be one of the best places to live. And once we resolve all these issues, I think it's going to be right back to, as far as the residents who are having some problems in the south. Once we resolve that, you'll realize that this is the best town to live in the state of New Jersey. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dobrin. Moving on to my report, I do have some additional comments regarding education and our K-8 district. In terms of our staff members that were awarded for their exemplary performance, either as a teacher of the year, as service professional of the year, or support staff member, I would like to read the names of these staff members so that they could be entered into record for their exemplary performance. For Atchison School, the teacher of the year is Mrs. Volpe. The ed service professional is Mrs. Ebert, and our support staff member, Mrs. Karowski. At Swimming River School, the teacher of the year is Mrs. Black. Mrs. Ocello is the ed service professional, and Mr. Sean Finucane is our support staff member. And for the middle school, the teacher of the year was Mrs. Deborah Golden. the ed service professionals, the school nurse, Mrs. Nevins, and the support staff members, Mr. Bishop. These awards are done in conjunction with students, staff, parents, and members of the community that nominate and vote on the staff members that win the award. And it really is a big deal, and I think it's something that we should recognize and continue to recognize as a community. Along the lines of keeping in the topic of education, I attended the first pre-K expansion committee meeting on December 11th. The K-8 district is in discussion with the state in the possible application for grant funding for pre-K for all. It has wonderful benefits. It has some obstacles that the school district and the committee are looking at, but I will keep you posted. I also, going last, everything's kind of been said, but I do want to give a shout out to the town for the wonderful holiday events that happen here. Everything that the police department does for the community and for our kids, everything that our fire department does in terms of all of their volunteer service, the Santa runs in between answering calls, it's a lot. The DPW for the amazing calendar that we just received. It really is an upgrade, looks terrific. And I'd like to wish everybody a happy holiday and a very healthy new year. Okay, that wraps up reports. Moving on to ordinances. There are no ordinances for introduction this evening. We do have an ordinance for final consideration. At this time, there's one ordinance for final consideration. We will hold a public hearing with comments limited to 3 minutes, and comments may only pertain to this ordinance. May I ask the clerk to read the title of the ordinance?
2023-1508, an ordinance amending Chapter 2, Section 12 of the Borough Code to amend the payment terms for special duty assignments by police officers.
Thank you. May I have a motion to open the public discussion on this ordinance?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is there anyone from the public that would like to comment on this ordinance? Please remember to state your name and address for the record. Okay, seeing none, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion.
And may I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any council members that would like to comment on this ordinance? May I have a motion then for adoption?
Motion.
And may I have a second?
Second.
And may I have a roll call?
Ms. Buckley?
Yes.
Dr. Dobrin?
Yes.
Mrs. Clay?
Yes. Okay, moving on to public discussion. May I have a motion to open the public discussion?
Motion.
And may I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This is the time the public may comment on any topic of their choice. Please state your name and address for the record, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. At this time, I would like to ask the clerk if any public comments were submitted prior to the meeting via email.
There were none.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Motion.
And may I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think I did that twice.
Good evening, Mitch Kohlberg, 21 Cedar Place. Good to see everybody. Happy holidays to the whole team here. Thanks, as always, for being here throughout the year, doing what you do. Very sad to hear, about the reclamation center. I live at the north end, so I don't smell it, but it stinks, right? They have this whole big thing. We're going to fix it. Monmouth County comes by. Everything looked like it was going to be okay. It's unfortunate to see it problematic again. I would just like to ask, when you have this meeting, you don't have the date yet for January, right? Yeah. When you set that up, in addition to the county executives, please try to have, like members of the Department of Environmental Protection or any other people for that matter that might have even oversight over these guys, right? Because it's all good to come in here with their promises, but there are also laws and things like that that need to be obeyed. So it would be great if you can have some of those kind of folks here as well, all right? Is that doable?
We can ask.
We can ask.
I always, you know, he doesn't like to get political. Anyway, that was really it. Thank you all. Have a great holiday.
Thank you.
Frank Matula, 43 Lennox Drive, Tinton Falls. I did want to say that Santa coming around was very exciting. I'm a big kid. I got out there, I was waving to Santa. I watched Santa actually get off the truck, which he hasn't done in the earlier years when my kids were younger. And I would understand if that's for legal reasons, but they actually were getting out and talking to the kids, and I thought that was just awesome. So kudos to the fire department and the fellows and young ladies that do that. I did want to ask, we have a sinkhole that's forming at the very beginning of Riverdale Avenue West, at the very entrance when you come in off of Swimming River Road. I know that somebody from the DPW, I think, has marked it out with sort of a box and spray paint. The sinkhole seems to be getting a little bigger. At some point, I'm wondering if it's going to engulf a car, but it's not that big. But it is getting bigger, and I notice that it's an issue. I know that New Jersey Natural Gas in our development, off of Riverdale, all the areas, Lenox, Leland, Neville Street, they've been doing all the upgrades of all the pipes. And I understand that at some point they're going to come through and pave the entire street. When might that happen? I'm just kind of curious when that might happen. And then last, this is more of an observation. I don't know if Tinton Falls Police Department can do anything about it, if they're doing anything. I've noticed sort of a brazen behavior of people who have license plates that are obscured and masked. They tend to be the individuals that really take advantage of doing things that are illegal because people can't read their license plates. And I've been sort of making note of people in town, just in general. I don't write license plates down. I don't write houses down where they're coming from. But I notice there's quite a few people that have these masked license plates. They have one license plate typically when they're supposed to have two on a vehicle, and then they got that masking, which I understand is maybe to prevent people from having the ability to read the license plate when they do something silly or dopey. But I noticed that those people that have those masked or darkened plate covers, are the ones that are usually doing silly and dopey things. So I don't know if the police is actively pulling people over and taking that into consideration. I know that New York has been doing it. I've talked to friends who are state troopers within the higher level of the state police, and I know that they've had a lot of discussions about what they're going to be doing with it. But I'm just wondering if Tinton Falls has actively been doing it. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? No? Okay.
Starts creaking. Again, Mr. Klein, 13 Horseshoe Court, Fox Chase. In reference to his comment just now, as we know, there's been a lot of speeding on Shafto Road. It's a speed zone. Coming down Asbury, shooting up Asbury. The other night, I happened to be trying to go to bed. For 2 hours, that's all I heard was racing up and down Shafto Road. Where's Tinton Falls? Besides me having to call him, but where's Tinton Falls? We're supposed to be monitoring that road because there's already a woman that was killed this year, right at the bottom of Shafto Road and Asbury Ave. She didn't stand a chance. She was killed by somebody speeding in an Audi, to the point where the engine became dislodged from the vehicle and mounted into a tree across the street. There's racing again. Shafto Road is not supposed to be a racetrack. There are deer on that road. There are deer on Asbury Ave. I've gone out, I've come home, and I've watched cars whiz past me. If you do the speed limit, you're fine. But the minute you're doing 80, it's a problem. So in reference to what he was talking about, hidden plates and all that stuff, what about whoever's racing? Is something going to happen with that? Are they waiting for something to happen again? That's a big thing. That happened to me once already when I lived going into Fox Chase before they put the traffic light in. I was going to make a left-hand turn. Somebody came across the road from my development, missed me within inches. If he would have broadsided me, he would have flipped me. I don't understand. I have family in law enforcement as well. They have their comments. And they're like, don't get it. Don't understand. But again, you go Shafto Road and it's a racetrack. They'll race up Asbury Ave, and my house backs to Asbury Ave. They'll race up Asbury Ave, they'll race back down Asbury Ave. And all you hear is racing. And Saturday night was 2 hours of it. I didn't sleep. I'm a heavy sleeper. I like to sleep with my window open, but that's all I heard. So, in reference to his statement, maybe it's something that Tinton Falls can do. Maybe the police can patrol it a little bit more. They patrol it during the day, because I've gone by and I wave at them. But at night, it's a free-for-all. So, if somebody wants to address that, or at least bring it to their attention, please do so. Because honestly, I don't want to see anybody hurt, killed, anything. So, thank you again.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, hearing no further comments, may I have a motion to close the public discussion?
May I mention something on the public discussion? Okay, that's fine. Then we can close it. Do you have a motion? Motion
Okay.
to
May I
close
have
the
a
public
second?
discussion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, miscellaneous business for the good of the order. Does any member of council have anything to add?
This is my chance. First, I'd just like to say that I want to say that it's been a great year in Tinton Falls. And we want to thank the leadership, Vito Perillo, our mayor, certainly a great business administrator, Charles Terrafranco. I think one of the best that this community has ever had in my 36 years anyway. So we do appreciate that. We have great people in this team. Our Chief Financial Officer, Tom Fallon, does an excellent job. Our Borough Engineer, Tom Neff, and certainly our Director of Law, Kevin Starkey. I also want to commend and give praise to our Borough Clerk, Michelle Hutchinson, who, each time comes up with everything that we need to have done. She's an excellent individual. She has an excellent staff, and I'd just like to recognize her as well. So, thank you, Michelle.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nobin. That was excellent. Now we will move on to the consent agenda. Before we do, are there any items any member of council would like removed to be voted on separately? Hearing none, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
And may I have a second?
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Buckley?
Yes.
Dr. Dobrin?
Yes.
Mrs. Clay?
Yes. This concludes today's business. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This meeting is now adjourned. Time is 8 o'clock.